My name is State Senator Martin Sandoval from the 12th Legislative District, also the chairman of the Illinois Senate. Time to build high-speed rail in Illinois is now. Governor Quinn has been a leader for high-speed rail in Illinois, and last year he applied for $10 million in funding to begin planning a bullet train. Unfortunately, our friends in Washington, namely the Federal Railroad Administration, led by one of our own Illinoisans, Joe Zabel, denied Illinois' request. Because of this, Illinois fell a year behind in building our bullet train. This delay is especially unfortunate since just yesterday, Florida Governor Rick Scott killed the Tampa to Orlando bullet train project by turning down more than $2 billion in federal funding for high-speed rail grants that could have come to Illinois. Illinois should be in a position today to spend $2 billion on bullet trains for the Midwest. Today, I am calling upon Governor Pat Quinn to begin work immediately in consultation with Secretary of Transportation Gary Hennig to plan for a bullet train in Illinois. The time is now. I know Governor Quinn believes in high-speed rail. He just mentioned it in his budget address, his commitment to high-speed rail, and we can no longer wait for Washington to get on the train and building the bullet train here in Illinois. Just a few weeks ago at the State of the Union address, my former colleague, President Barack Obama, said that within 25 years, our goal is to give 80% of Americans access to high-speed rail. I applaud my colleague, President Barack Obama, for his vision and leadership. Investing in high-speed rail infrastructure is a prerequisite for the United States to compete with the rest of the world's economies. By the way, Illinois is the fifth largest economy of this country, and we are the heartland. This is where all air, rail, and highway meet and converge. The only way to meet Obama's goal is for Illinois to redouble our efforts in building a high-speed rail network. I want to reiterate that Governor Quinn just yesterday said, "We believe in high-speed rail." He also said, "We will be applying for more federal funds." He understands that it's the backbone of a modern economy, of putting people back to work and moving the economy in Illinois. It is time that the Federal Railroad Administration supports the vision of Governor Quinn and President Obama and fund the bullet train in Illinois. Today, joining me is Rick Harnish, Executive Director of the Midwest High-Speed Rail Association, along with other members of his association.
Thank you very much, Senator. As he said, I'm Rick Harnish. I'm the Executive Director of the Midwest High-Speed Rail Association. We're a membership-supported group working for fast, frequent, and dependable trains linking the entire Midwest. Today, in the rest of the world, our economic competitors are enjoying very fast travel, very cheap travel, and much more productive travel because their government saw the need to invest in very fast trains. Today in China, they are currently operating over 4,000 miles of trains are operating at 150 miles an hour and above. This is a critical component of making an economy function properly. As the administration has said, in order for cities and the people within cities to truly collaborate, you have to be within 2 hours of each other. That's so that you can go out and back in the same day, have a fully productive day at the other end, and come back in time to see the kids into bed. They have made it clear over and over again that the goal should be 2 at a maximum 3 hours between major cities. In the Midwest, that means averaging 150 miles an hour or above. Even in August, Vice President Biden stated in a document that the goal between Chicago and St. Louis is, in fact, 2 hours. That means building new track. That means electrification. That means a really big investment for our future. We're really excited that the state is upgrading the existing Amtrak service. That's critical for connecting all of the smaller towns in between. It's a good interim step. We applaud Senator Durbin and Governor Quinn for making sure that we got the money in order to do that. And we're excited that that project is underway. But it's time now to start working on the next generation of high-speed rail so that we can have it by 2020. Not some year out in the future. Let's set a specific goal. We're going to have high-speed trains operating at 220 miles an hour by the year 2020. And in order to meet that goal, we need to start the design work today. And to repeat what the Senator said, the governor has requested funds to begin that design process. Unfortunately, the federal government turned us down. It's time to do that whether or not we get federal funding. It's time to actually get that process started. And if we start today, we can beat California to the punch. We can be the first state in North America to actually be running trains at 220 miles an hour. But it requires a bold commitment now while we've got the president on our side, while we've got a clear understanding of the economics that go into this. We are currently working on a 4-route study to look at what would happen if we connected 8 major cities to Chicago with trips of less than 2.5 hours. And the results are huge. Nearly $10 billion in additional activity, economic activity in Chicago alone. That alone begins to pay off this investment in the future that we need to start today by starting the planning. So I'm very excited that Senator Sandoval has taken this on as one of his highest priorities. And it's time to get the state actually doing the design work right now. Thank you.
Given the state's fiscal situation, could you maybe say why this makes sense now?
Part of the solution to bring this state out of its recession is to put people back to work, and it's to start planning about how to spur the economy, move the economy. So today is the day that I'm calling upon Quinn to start the planning of moving this economy over the next 20 years, into the next 20 years. You know, I have passed a resolution in the last session calling upon a committee to be formed, a commission to be formed to study and start to do the planning for a high-speed rail bullet train. Yeah, to date, you know, the members have not been appointed. You know, Governor Quinn, I just met with the governor's office as well as the Illinois Department of Transportation office, officials from both of these offices, and I've passed on my sentiment to both the governor and to the Secretary of Transportation that the planning needs to take place, and they've committed that looks like they are putting together a task force advisory group, a committee that would be announced at a future date to do the planning. Any other questions?
If I can add to that question. So bullet trains really have become a prerequisite for competing in the global marketplace. If you look at the attractiveness at Springfield today for locating an international type of business, it is incredibly difficult to get to O'Hare and get to the rest of the world. But if you look at a similarly placed city, Cordoba, which is about the same distance away from Madrid as Springfield is away from Chicago. It's a thriving city. It's got a thriving university because you can quickly get to downtown Madrid and because you can quickly get to the airport and get anywhere in the world. We've got one of the best international airports in the world at O'Hare, and the trains will help link downstate communities to O'Hare so that they can attract businesses. It also makes it a lot easier for our businesses in Chicago to collaborate with other businesses around the state and throughout the entire region, which generates more economic activity. It makes it more likely that people will locate here, and that's why we need to begin the work on making this investment today. This is the same kind of commitment we made in 1956. Which was spurred in part because of an economic recession. And in 1956, we decided to undertake the largest public works project ever in building the interstate highway system. This is today's interstate highway network, and we have to begin the process now.